G'day everyone, welcome along. Welcome to Steelhorse Station. Hope you are well. It's great to have you in. And we are heading to the Oaks today. So without any further ado, we'll jump across there. Let's see, can I get the correct buttons working? The first thing we notice on the Oaks is we're in the middle of January and it is snowing, but worse than that, snow has covered the ground. So I'm thinking that pretty much puts an end to all our fieldwork activities. You'll notice we've got 27,000 in the bank. I took another load of oats to sell, and we've just got a few thousand left in the truck, which we might run down in a minute. It's like 20% of a truckload, but with snow on the ground, we can't do much else. So I'm thinking we roll forward into February and see where we are. So that's the plan. We should be there in just a second. There we go. Oh, there's an auction running. Well, I might have to go and have a look at that. Not that we've got any cash, but it's the first indication I've seen of the auctions mod. And as I suspected, it's not immediately evident on what field the auction is running. It's over here. Unfortunately, the developer of the auction, field auction mod, I thought it'd be really appropriate on this map and it'd work quite well for us. But unfortunately, when Giants changed the way they record and report fields and farm areas, they the mod stopped. The mod still works, it's just not easy to figure out what field's up for auction. So I put it in as much as anything else to see if it worked any better on this map, and also to see if a fix came out we could easily apply it. But so far not so good. So we're in February. Looks like there is no scheduled later in the day, but we have got access to the fields again, so it's clear for the minute. Let's have a look at the forecast. So forecast is middle of the day snow showers. Okay, so hopefully that won't get in the way of work that we need to do. Let's jump across to here where we're ploughing this field for the contract. So you're on the up and downs coming from that side, and you're on the up and downs coming from the other side. So we're about a fifth of the way through. We've got some fuel down here if we need it, so they can continue there. What we might do, we need a little more cash for a couple of purchases that I intend for today. So let's take the last bit of this crop. Yeah, where can we sell oats? Where can we sell oats indeed? So the prices have dropped, which will cost us $100 or so. British Sugar Grain looks like the winner. So let's head over there. I'm guessing it's over behind us somewhere. So by not selling it before the end of the snowy day, cost us $500, which is a bit disappointing, but somehow times that's how it goes. The weather gets in the way. I hope everybody's had a fun week. We've decided to have summer the last couple of days here in Melbourne, so it was a fairly warm night, and it is a fairly warm, mildly sticky morning, so I think we're going to change later in the day. So let's go to all our New Zealand friends who have been having a tough time in the aftermath, particularly on the North Island, of that cyclone that was on the edge of the Pacific. Now this truck has an issue with its gearbox. It gets stuck in this gear and won't change, even though it's over revving slightly. Other than that, it works really well, but I have to change it manually for it to take off. It's just an issue with that first gear range by the looks. So the grass is growing nicely in there. Probably worth it, given we're so dependent on grass yield. If we get a chance to throw some fertilizer on after we've sampled the fields, it might be worth it. Farmer Ed, welcome along, great to have you in. Hope it's been a good week for you. We're just heading to sell the last little bit of our oats crop. A 3-day weekend. Just thinking, what time of the year? What is it? It's the is it kind of like an exit weekend, or is there not aware of a special holiday in February in the UK? Birthdays to celebrate. Well, they're always fun. Now, what have I done here? Where is... should be around here somewhere. Where's that grain point? It's disappeared on me. Hello? Oh, there it is. 14. Yes, I remember. The Black Tunnel. My daughter's 3 years. See, it's stuck in first again. My daughter's about 2.5 years older than my son. And they got on really well most of the time. He absolutely worshipped her. And then she became a teenager and he got really confused. G'day, John. Because on any given day, in fact any hour of any given day, she would oscillate between biting his head off and being his best friend. And the only trouble was he couldn't tell, as could anyone else, what time or day or hour it was. So yes, the mood swings in teenagers are challenging. Right, so we look like we have a sell point that's up here. So let's tootle up there. G'day, Mark. Welcome in. We're just selling the last of the corn. Just hopefully so we have enough money. And we'll go from here to the store. Yep, we should have enough. We've got a contract being worked, ploughing contract. Now, how do we get out here? I've not been down this road. We'll go this way. Where does this road go? We can go back out across the bottom, okay? Looks like, yes. So we're at, oh, I see. We must be in the factory complex. This takes us out. The wonders of location independence, Mark. You'll be doing more driving than I will. So what we're going to do now is head up to the store, if I can remember how to get there from here. When we've saved, right. We're right down here, so we've got to go north, left. We've got to go all the way up the map, so this might take a minute or two. Because while we've got some money in the bank, in order to be able to progress our own fields sensibly, we need to get them the soil tested. And so we've got a contract going in the background. Got a couple of the lads off doing that. So with any luck, that'll deliver later in the day and give us any cash we need. In the meantime, we should have enough to purchase ourselves a soil tester. And I also want to get a trailed lifter, because I think we've got two vehicles that can tow now, because as you can see there's a hitch on the back of this truck and the Landy, and while we've got underpowered tractors in particular, I think it'd be handy to have a trailed lifter so that all our towing vehicles can move implements around as required. Also, the tractors themselves are particularly slow, so just think it would be an efficient way to go. That's the plan. Our ability to actually sample our fields is going to be limited by the cash that we've got. However, the silage that we prepped last time should be ready to go, so we should be able to sell a load of that with any luck. From next month we might, where am I here? Do I want to go left there? It's a pretty little property. I don't think we've been past here before. Those of you that haven't had a chance, if you're interested, Mark, Farm Sim Brisco did a drive around of this exact area, and he's posted the vids. I'll put a link to the first of those in the description for this stream, and really quite interesting to see drive around. In fact, in the first one, about 3/4 of the way through, he drives past the area that where we've based the map and actually makes reference to it. So it's really quite cool to sort of like, as he was approaching it, it's like, oh yeah, I recognize that bit. It's, you know, from the tree, from the bushed area right up to the corner where we've set our main yard, and then round and down by the house. So gives you a really good flavour for what the area is like, and quite a faithful reproduction. The only thing, I guess, that I noticed as he drove around, he does make some reference to it, is there's probably more hedges on his map because he's tended to do the field borders almost exclusively in hedges. Excuse me. Hay fever killing me this morning. Whereas in this, as you see, as he drives around the map, lots of the field edges are actually little hillocks, raised sort of mounds along the side of the road, almost like a berm, I guess, which I've now played with Giants Editor enough to know that would be a real pain to emulate for a map of this size, because you'd have to do most of them by hand. So hedges are a good compromise. But we're almost at the shop. So yes, don't worry, you'll be there soon enough. Whoop. Give way to the right. I'm sure that was the rule. Okay, we are at the store. Whack you down here. So we require one of these scouts, and I'm a bit of a fan of this mod, which just increases the range a little. I think for the size of our fields, 65 or the 130. I think we go with the 130. Let's go with green. That seems to be popular. Oh, there you go. Farmer Ed voted for the 130, so that's the one we've done. How about that? I think that was a good compromise. The little ones, the base game ones, just spend all your time scanning. I think the process of sampling the soil needs to be a little independent from the need to go all of one way or another. So, right, so we've got that. And the other thing I want to grab, oh, it might actually be in that. There it is, this guy. Fairly simple, basic, not too fancy. We might make him green as well. We better put black rims. Yeah, black. Black it is. The rims color cost $1,000. We don't need it that badly. Guess standard color it is. Okay. It is British Racing Green, yes. We won't put weights on it for the moment, but I do like the fact you can put a couple of 100 or 400 kilos of weight on there if necessary. I thought we'll see how it performs before we worry about that. So now, part of my rationale for doing that is it should give us the ability to take it back. Oop. Turn, buddy. There we go. Do that without scraping it on the ground? Probably not. Hitch is a little bit high. It'll do. Now, the other thing I wanted to look at while I was here is, can we take silage in this truck? I don't remember if I checked that before. Yes, we can. Okay. So what we can do is fill a trailer and the truck with silage and see what a full load pays us. Nicer than to put a little skid plate on the bottom so we don't drag it on the ground. If it works, is it wrong? No, that is a good strategy. If it damages the equipment, it might be, but the game's not that sophisticated. I put that up there with the sort of useful sayings that you encounter from time to time. Now, where am I? I'm at that one. So we need to be down to the next one. Am I? Yeah. I'm up the top there, right. Okay. So I need to come down to the second one. My favourite one from the time I spent in India is a Hindi saying, which I can never remember the actual Hindi phrase for, but it basically translates to fix it till it breaks. Which, when you think about it, applies to many things, but is particularly prevalent in India. No worries, Ed. Thanks for popping by. Have a good one. So yes, on my time in India, I encountered many things that it was quite evident had been fixed until they broke. Exactly, Mark. So let's tootle around here. So on the video, Mark actually goes up that road there. I recognise that corner. There's some roadworks happening. So it's very cool. Absolutely they do. India is a fascinating place. Very, very interesting. Now, so this is Cantley, and we are somewhere. Where have I come through? Okay, I'm lost. Or at least lost my view on the map. We there? My imagination, or can I not see my icon on this map? By field 2. Oh, I'm further down the map than I thought. Okay, now we do need to go to the left. Thank you. The reason I couldn't see it is I was looking in the wrong spot. I should have been looking further south. And here's the snow showers as predicted on schedule. So hopefully they won't cover the fields. And we should be able to get some work in. Eventually I will get to know my way around these lanes. A few weeds growing in there. So I think our priority for testing the fields should be the field we want to plant and these fields that we want to. Right, so there's the auction is running, but I don't know how to figure out. And actually, Mark, I don't know if you've got any ideas. So I've got the auction mod running. However, it doesn't, it got broken when the Giants changed the way they present field numbers and farm area numbers. And as a consequence, whilst it's running, there's no way of telling. It used to come up with the field number in red. It doesn't show that anymore. And I thought it'd be a really useful, interesting mod because there's lots of fields on here. And And I thought it would kind of fit our scenario to have, because it only auctions one a year, so it's not like it's going to overwhelm the game, but to have the potential to bid for a field as we go forward strikes me as an interesting thing to do. But I don't know how to modify it or fix it. I was hoping that the mod author would do that. And I suspect my lure's not quite up to the task of untangling it. It should be, I'm hoping, an easy fix, like a, you know, just a simple matter of changing a displayed field. But if you had a minute to look at it, that would be really appreciated. Okay, so we can take you off there. Oh, let go. And let go. So then the next challenge we're going to have I suspect is loading silage, because g'day Pleasant View, how are you doing? Oh, the other interesting thing you'll note, you might recall we had this lump of forage that wasn't initially covered, and when I rolled over the day and came back, it was covered, which I thought was a bit bizarre. So interesting. We should be, yes, we are 100%, so we're good to go. We just need to figure out how we're going to move it. In fact, that'll be a slow, laborious process with the front loader, won't it? Somewhere in our not too distant future, given the size of our clams, it's probably a good idea to get a conveyor. Ah, very good. So you're between jobs, Pleasant View. You finished your day job and now you've got to go to your pre-day and post-day feed the animals activities, no doubt. I reckon what we do next is show how tough we are and go sample our fields in a t-shirt in the snow. So where do we want to put that lifter? Where it's sort of convenient but out of the way. Why don't we? What have we got in the shed over there? That's the mower. This is the sort of implement that it makes sense that I could manipulate it by hand. Okay, I'm going to leave you there because I can. If it just had a drawbar weight and some inertia, I should be able to push it around. Right, let's go. do these 2 arable fields first and see how many samples that gives us, because then we probably have to wait until the ploughing is done. We will go and check on the ploughing shortly. The other reason for doing these fields first is that currently our environmental score is sub 50, which means when we sell stuff, we actually get a small financial penalty. So I just want to get it back into the positives before we sell any silage. What's happening here? Why am I not getting a circle on my mini-map? Is that a tractor issue, I wonder? Or is it a 4 times issue? I haven't used... I use soil sampling on a... I haven't used this mod on a 4x map. I'm wondering if 130 meters on 4x becomes 600 meters. Or 520 meters. Interesting. I've used this map fine on this mod fine on standard maps. We'll do a few. We'll just guess for the minute. It's working in terms of function, it's just the display that appears to be screwed up a little bit. See how that goes for guesswork. And the problem is, what did I do there? 6 samples. If I use up all my cash at the minute, then my ploughmen will stop working their field. So I only get 2 sizes of the mini-map. So, and it doesn't show anything on that one. We will just experiment, see how we go. I won't do any more samples for the minute. we'll go and check on the ploughing and seeing how that's getting along. Make sure nothing untoward's happened there. We haven't run out of fuel or something similar. Rightio, what's happening over here? So you have plenty of fuel. You're the little plough, so you're starting on that side. You're working from the other side. You're roughly working parallel. I don't think, not quite. You're actually running at different angles. So I need to keep an eye on that. Okay. After the difficulty I had loading the oats the other day, I got a smaller bucket for this tractor, which works much better. Now, I think about how to line that truck up. Let's make it a little easier for ourselves. I wonder, is the trailer going to auto-fill in the bunker? I don't think it will, but we might as well try it. The silage fermentation is complete, so we can check. We checked before, but we can check again. Where are we here? There we go. Silage. Show locations. Bunker is closed. Why is that not? That worked perfectly before. That's because it's fully turned into silage. So now we want to uncover you. Oh, interestingly, it covered it separately. Okay. Let's just back in and see if it gives me the option to fill the trailer. I'm not expecting it. No, I just thought what I didn't want was to do it the other way round and load the trailer by hand only to discover later. Oh, yeah, see. Right. So we will have a conveyor in our future when we get some cash. But for now, so many things we need. Gosh, they're going crazy on that field. Adrian Hooper is the highest bidder. Well, at least it's a bit easier to load this here than it was the oats in that fiddly little barn where I dropped them. This size is a much better match for this tractor combination, tractor weight combination. It's still a fraction heavy, but it's manageable. And I don't feel like I'm completely out of control with using the keyboard to drive it. Just trying to get my fingers to remember which button does which job. Yeah, only putting 900. There you go. Take a little while to fill this combination, isn't it? More tea. Just got to try and find a camera angle that it's interesting you can't shovel off the top. It doesn't help if I can't see the angle of the bucket. It'd be nice to actually have a little the ability to, like you've got your mini map, to pull up an inset that showed you a side camber angle so you could see the orientation of your bucket. Because I don't want to always be at the side. I quite like doing it first person, but I've got nothing that tells me the orientation. SL8022 Quantum. Okay. What sort of money will that set our Putneys back? Let's see how we go here. Can't drive the keyboard and the mouse camera at the same time. That's not too bad. $38,000. Okay, cool. I will go and find it, and you never know. We'll just pause there for a second. So we have a good range of, so we get up to 10 items in our second-hand list. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Which, what I was hoping would occur is absolutely occurring. So I've got quite a large list of mods added, and what I wanted was to have a good selection of second-hand gear, which is now what we've got. That doesn't mean we'll necessarily buy anything from it, but there is a range of things here, all of which would be useful. And so as we add other mods, I'm hoping that some of them will come up from time to time, and we'll be able to make it interesting. That's the situation. I can't, no way of telling what angle that bucket is. Come on, it's not right. Give me the extra. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, why are you not filling up? Bizarre. We're getting there. Getting there slowly. Our first sail out of the mortgage clamp. Given how important the silage is to our operation, I'm thinking that the conveyors are very much rocketing to the top of our list of important pieces of equipment. Yeah, that looks to be the case, John. It's just not what I was going on was that it's showing me that there was 1,000 litres in it. What I'm learning is that if I just watch for the point at which the graphic shows that it's pushing the silage, that should mean it's full. It didn't that time. Come on. You see, it didn't fill it then. Interesting. Be satisfied with less than 1,000 litres in it. It's quicker than manipulating things just to try and make it full to pussy's boat. But so what are people's thoughts on the Gavile announcement this week? What do you like about what appears to be proposed in the pack? You have the year 2 pass, okay. So are you pleased with pack 1's proposition then, John? I like the look of that static baler machine. That looks interesting. I can see that fitting in a number of scenarios I like to play. And the wrapper unit that appears to fit on a front loader looks like an interesting addition too. Yeah, I haven't bought the season pass yet. I'm in two minds. I didn't feel necessarily that last year's was tremendous value. But I suspect I probably will end up doing it. Kind of goes with the territory, I guess. I need to access most of the gear to make the streams interesting, so let's put this one in. We must be getting pretty close to filling this trailer up. Let's have a look. How are we going? Trailer is 90%. Oh, look, the snow stopped working so hard, didn't even know it. So I would have bought the Platinum Edition. It's just a question of whether, so it just breaks the decision for me into 4 separate decisions, or 5 rather than the Andrew Perrin, welcome along. Thank you for joining us. So it's just a matter of, you know, do I just suck it up and make it all automatic, or do I make an individual choice when I know what's in the content? And the fact that there's something that I'm interested in the first DLC, so if, you know, if I look back, I wouldn't have bought that Antonio Carrero pack last year as a separate standalone thing, just because there's, as it looked at the time, it just wasn't enough different. I mean, there were, you know, any number of modders that put out more content than was in that pack. So what did I do there? Let's try putting the bucket down. It'll work much better. We'll actually get product in it. Yeah, so there's no question I would have put my hand in my pocket for the Platinum DLC. Goodness, stuck on the wall. So we still would have had a Silver Run Forest Farm. Oh, come back, come back. Thank you. Yeah, you look like you're full. Okay. All the rest in the truck. So Andrew, we're just loading up our first truckload of silage here to get down and try and get some money in the bank so that we can finish sampling our fields. No, well, they're not really, or haven't proven to be my thing either. And at the time the pack came out, I was playing a lot of Old Stream Farm and getting right into grapes, which I really enjoyed. And so I was doubly frustrated. So my first frustration was when I saw the pack was, even though they marketed it as 6 or 8 tractors, it's really just 3, with a couple of variations that would normally be in the config menu. So that was kind of, you know, just felt a little bit oversold to me. And then when I get them actually in practice, if you're well, so the scenario we have here, Andrew, is funds are constrained. So this is the Putney family farm, and Harold Putney and his 5 kids, or his wife and 5 kids, live in the house you can see just straight ahead. The farm's been in the family for several generations, but Harold really didn't prove to be much of a farmer, and he's really struggled over the last few years. The kids have now finished school and are in a position to help him. There's not much employment in the area, so that sort of works out well. But there's a $950,000 mortgage which keeps them in trouble, and all their equipment's pretty old and tatty, as you can see. So oh, how did we end up on 15 times speed, for goodness sake? I must have hit the wrong key at some point. Sorry about that, folks. That's how I did it. So that's why funds are a little bit short. And so now with the kids working, they're taking some contracts, and we're trying to get the farm back on a footing. So the hope here is that the silage will cover the mortgage costs. Yeah, we're in Feb, but the time, I'd set the time at the beginning of the stream to run it 6 times, which then would have meant a whole day generally. You're not gonna back out of there, come on. A whole day fits into the stream. But obviously at some point I've hit the wrong key and somehow bumped it up to 15 times, which meant it's now 6 o'clock in the evening when it should be like midday. Why are you misbehaving? You've worked perfectly all day and all of a sudden you now only want to go 2 miles an hour in reverse. So what we're going to have to do, I think, is use part of Easy Dev that I haven't used before, because I don't want you guys watching in the dark. That's no fun. Let's have a look here. Every day, is that weather sunny? Let's put the time back to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. No, I do not. Why don't let me go backwards? Can't put the time back. Okay. Good to know. I thought I could go back slightly. Can I change it to daylight? Add visibility. If it is, I can stop time. We'll do that for the minute. Run, jump, third person, file locations. It's not under the vehicle menu. Brain vehicle. It's productions. Fields. Looking for here. It's no. It's salt. Under weather, you reckon? Weather debug off. Set snow. Remove snow. Weather. Yeah, I don't think that's helping. I thought I could turn the light. Never mind. We'll just have to make do for the minute. I guess it doesn't. If I can get this done reasonably quickly, then we can go and sell the silage, and all I really wanted to get done was the ploughing contract finished and a sale of silage. The rest can wait until March. There's nothing else that's time critical. G'day, Farm Sim Brisco. It's the man who made the map himself. Welcome along. And before you ask, the reason we're in the dark is because I made a mistake. Well, we're almost in dark. That's why time is set to 0, Farm Sim Brisco, but thanks for popping in. I must say I did enjoy your little video tour of the countryside where this is set, and thank you very much for mentioning the ponies. We've gotten ourselves a little bit out of the bother that we're in. So we've now got some silage, which should help keep us in the black. We desperately need a conveyor to make it easier to unload. Load up, rather. Oh, question while I've got you there, Farm Sim Brisco. The only errors I'm getting on the map now relate to the missing, or the only ones that bother me in the log, missing wall lamps. By any chance, would you be able to post those on your itch page? Oh, that's cool, Mark. It's not a fault thing. It's more just a to clean it up. I just need a copy of them so that I can include them in the right spot. Oh, okay. It's a store items definition thing. I hadn't done any research to try and deal with it. Well, I've got you there, Mark. Farm Sim, how did I go? So I upgraded the gate so that I could get in and out of here. Did I do a passable job as an apprentice map modifier? I reckon it looks not too bad. So I had to extend the hedge and mess around a little bit. Couple more. I just copied them from the spot where the farm was. It was more the landscaping to get them in. And I don't know if you've seen, we can pop down there in a minute. I gave the Putneys a cow and a calf and some chickens, so... Oh, right. Okay. That would have made plenty of sense. But the hedged off grass area, I shrank just a fraction to fit in my fenceless spot for my cow. So that involved learning some other things about how to mess with it, which was interesting. I certainly don't feel like there's anything missing on the map. I think you've found a great balance between feel, the ability for people to do their own way, and show off the things that, you know, you've spent obviously an enormous amount of time and effort putting in. So I reckon you've found a really great balance. This is almost done. I know nothing about multiplayer. But I can imagine this would be a really fun map for multiplayer. Just the way it's laid out. I mean, it's a really fun map for single player, so our boys are doing pretty well on field 77, so that's good. Nope, 10 the other way. Just a couple more shovels, I reckon. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that Farm Sim, because I didn't set out necessarily with that in mind. It was more thought that a bunch of the really big YouTubers were gonna pick up on the map because of how nice it was, and I thought, well, you know, they'll typically go for one of the bigger, high profile, established farms, and so if I pick that, then nobody will watch what I'm doing. So I thought, well, I got a bit of a different storyline in mind. You know, how would that start out? And the minute I saw that, run down yard over by the house over there, it all just sort of fell in together. So that's to me, that's what I look for in a map is, as I just drive around and have my first look at it, there's something about it pique the imagination, and if it does, that to me, that's the beginnings, it's the first strong sign that that's a good map. It happened on Griffin, it happened to an extent on Silver Run. It happened absolutely on Old Stream. I played quite a lot of hours on Adelshoven. So it's just I guess what I'd call it, it's like a community feel to the map. Makes a big difference to me. I know everybody has their own different sort of thing, but that's the... Oops. I'm thinking that's getting very close. I'll try one more and just see if it goes. Hopefully we can still get into the animal dealer at 5 to 6. Oh, that was close. Oh, back up. Yeah, there we go, we're full. Good job. Let us check the tool. Pretty sure it'll be the animal dealer that'll be the place to be selling. Oops. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Silage biogas plant, it says. Let's compare. I don't even know where the biogas plant is. That's entirely understandable. Well, I think because of our money woes, we have to go to the biogas plant. So, and if it's like biogas plants, no, I wasn't questioning it, Mark. In fact, quite different. What I was looking for was the difference at $8 a thousand litres. Because the animal deal is just here and close, I wasn't sure where the biogas plant was and whether it made a difference, whether it was going to be worth for $8 a thousand litres to go down. And what I conclude is that it was. Oh, that sounds like quite a challenging bit of logic to implement. So we got, yeah, so $8 a thousand litres. There you go, $250. That's worth the drive down. We're stuck in first again. I perfectly understand with the amount of time and effort you've put into it, Farm Sim Brisco, it's entirely appropriate that you would spend some time actually playing it. That must be a 9:01 now. And what's more than that, as soon as we roll the day over, we're going to go 5,000 backwards. So I'm already annoyed that I rolled over the day at the start of the episode and dropped $500 because I didn't take the last 4,000 litres of oats before the day finished. Drive faster, the pride. And these are narrow lanes. I reckon 40 mile an hour with the best part of 20 tons of gear on here is probably quick. Oh yes, I can see that Farm Sim in your Discord channel. I'm sure some people also just take delight in pointing stuff out because they can, rather than because it really they're confused about it. And well, as I said, other than the bug in the log that I just want to tidy up, and the issue we had with the mod I chose earlier, I haven't had any problems at all since the very first version of the map. So I had a problem with the first version. Yes, I think I connected you to one of those. And it's not helped by the fact that I'm pretty sure there is an esoteric error in the additional game settings mod that Rockstar puts out, or that has put out, that was introduced with the 1.8 patch, and it's not a game failing error. It screws something up with the lure. I'm stuck in gear again with a lure script. Or with the lure stack, I think. Are you shouting at me, Mark, or are you just hitting caps lock? Oh, I'm sorry, I had to read it in context of your other. He was shouting at you. Okie dokie. Now, the entrance in over there, I'm going to guess, is straight up this road. Which may be wrong, but... Oh, that looks pretty good. And we'll do a right turn here. And around the bunker. And we're in. Good. Oh. Yay, money. Yes, well, I think you're dealing with it with remarkable patience. So there's our score penalty. What's the capacity of the inputs on here, Farm Sim? I don't think we'll run into it. Excellent. Right. So, what we can do now is head on back. And we can roll on into daylight. No, it's not a problem. It's only topical for me because the Silver Run storyline that I've got, I put a small BGA in the... some investors came to town and leased some space near the new sawmill in Silver Run. And Jake thought it was a good idea to be a sugar beet and sell it, which he has done, and managed to fill it up with the first trailer load, and since then has delivered a couple of things to it. Now, that wasn't deliberate. I didn't really think about it. I just placed the mod and it sort of seemed to fit the story. So it's the and it is working quite nicely, and so we'll have to see how that unfolds. But it just reminded me that BGAs have a nasty habit of filling up on inputs at inopportune times. And on the Giants base maps, when I was just starting out with Farm Sim in Erlengrad, I couldn't for the life of me understand why it wouldn't take stuff I was trying to deliver to it. Huge, you think, John? Yeah, it would make sense. A 500 megawatt facility, so one would imagine it's got a bit of capacity. And my plan B was always, well, we'll go up to the animal dealers if we get stuck. We can always sell up there, so I'm not concerned about unloading silage, but that was good. We picked up, what, 10 grand or so, 11 grand, so that meets the requirements of the silage clamp. I did like it when you drove down here on your little tour, Farm Sim Brisco. You drove up here just like this. I recognised it before you got there and said, so that's a credit to you. It was quite a weird feeling, to be honest. It must have been, after spending so much time with your head buried in the map, it must have felt a little surreal driving around the district. Oh, we're stuck again. Yes, that. Yeah. The word that immediately came to mind when I saw that comment was troll. It's like, you know, I haven't spent an enormous time in Britain, but I've driven a little in the countryside and it felt pretty British to me. And feel-wise, I mean, it has some aspects of it that feel a bit similar to Calmsden, not in terms of a copy sense. It's sort of like a, you know, a neighborhood, a neighboring district. Right. So the ploughing contract's at 87%. That doesn't make a difference if we finish it today. What we can do though is turn the truck off. And go over here. And is it Y to send the samples? There we go. So we should be able to look at the soil map. And it looks like we want to be stopping one of those tractors in a minute because the angles aren't quite right on the ploughing contract. But if we have a look at the soil map, we can now see, yes, as I suspected. So we have learnt something. So when you use this mod with the soil test mod on a 4X map, it automatically scans a much bigger area than you anticipate. So we probably didn't need to get the 130 meter version. Because we are sampling huge. Let's have a look here. Why does the... What's happening? And that's better. No. Why am I not getting a pH reading? I've got soil sample. Oh, the soil sample's not returned yet. Is that what that's telling me? Maybe that's the case. Oh, because time's at 0. That will do it. I need time to click over a minute or two, which we will do. I keep getting hit in the face with the tree branches because I like to drive in third person view. There we go. There's the soil samples done. So now we have some results. That's better. And we find that an interesting soil map. So our main arable fields that we had planted before are pretty crappy in terms of a bit of a mix, good soil and bad soil. Be interesting to see when we sample this one what it comes out at. Our grass field, not sure. Yes, I can imagine getting harvesters on these lanes and getting caught behind them would be a real challenge. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to stop the ploughing. Which one's this? This is the little plough, so we'll stop you at the end of the road. And then we'll roll over the day. So what, as the Putneys get themselves out of the bind that they're in and look to upgrade their equipment, what type of, i.e. brand / size of harvester would they be looking for in this area? What would be a choice that's sympathetic to the location? Okay, let's turn you off. You can stop there. Okay, so class gear fits with the area. It's, I think I'm going to take you back to the farm. I was thinking at some point we'll end up with a JCB wheel loader or telehandler or both as part of our operation. Yep. That's an interesting stat, isn't it? It's just too expensive to work the land configured like this. Is that basically the message? That's certainly what the Putneys were finding. Okay, next job is to get to daylight. Feeling a little bit better about financials, so that's good because the contract that will be finished pretty quickly in the next game day is I'm pretty sure farming everywhere these days is hard. Here the weather is a really big challenge. water. I mean, it's a dry continent to start with, so lights on, Mars inside, whipping up a feast. So let's get them up at 8 o'clock will do. Oh, we had a bit of rain overnight. So you can see there, 6,300 we lose in loan interest. So, and if we duck around, so that's where the workshop is, Farm Sim. I don't know if you caught up on it in earlier streams. That's where I just moved the boundary of the hedge back and the copse, I guess you'd call it, that you created, and just put a spot where the family cow and its calf wander around. And while I speak of it, yeah, we've got enough water in there. And in order to do that, I just had to mess with your hedges a little bit, and we sort of dug a chicken coop in over here, because I figured the family would have chickens. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Nothing I can do about those. Yep, Daisy, Betty, anything. No, it probably wouldn't be Betty in the UK, would it? But yeah, I figured a family like the Putneys would have a cow to provide their own milk, and some chooks to provide eggs and the occasional roast. Might even have a couple of sheep kicking around somewhere, but we haven't got to that far. And progressively we'll tidy this yard up now that I've got some idea of what I'm doing. I just haven't figured out how to do that. Just about got all of the undergrowth out of the shed. Now I do love these little features where the wall's been bricked up. All those sorts of things. Hairy Mary. My kids had a Hairy McClary from Donaldson's Dairy. He was a dog. We'll probably add a dog in some point too. Right. Field 70. So, what we need to do is get this plough. Pretty sure this field needs ploughing. Let's have a look. Let's complete one thought before we start another. So, crop types. Needs ploughing. Yes, it does. So, we need to plough this field. Yes, there was a big, fairly public spat here in the years leading up to COVID, because the major supermarkets were sort of at war over staples and things. What we want to be doing here is one of these. Create a job, that'll do you. Open the course generator, 6 headlands around, generate the course, and start. And their big promo was $1 a litre for milk. And the farmers were furious because they were basically arguing that, you know, all that tells you is how little we're getting paid. If a supermarket can sell it, thinks they can sell it for $1 a litre, why did that not do anything? Try turning it on rather than off, that'll be better. This field I've already done, so that field's ready to seed. We're now at the point where we need to start thinking about what we're going to put in the fields. Let's go on. Well, we've still got a little bit of cash. Let's go. Based on what sort of area this records, we can probably just plonk in the middle of this here. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, see, sugar in this country is pretty much cane produced up in the north, so it's a different proposition. So I want to go a B, don't I? And there we go, got one of those. And then we want to go next door and do the grass field. Yeah, that's pretty much that's how my understanding how crops are done worldwide. I've heard many a farmer complaining about that in Australia. Just the whole produce grading systems. And of course then you get farmers on the other end of the scale that game it. Now, how many of these are we going to have to do? I reckon we'll do 4. Based on how big the last guy was. On there. We'll do another one over here. And then we'll go 2 more down in the bottom here. Nice March morning, but looks. Okay, so that's 4 for that field, and we got one more field to do, which is our big one. Now, I can't remember what we decided we were going to plant in here, chasps. I recall people having some good suggestions. We've got I've had snow. Yeah, there will be no poplar. Well, at least not in one of these big fields. Yes, I have had snow. So at the start, if you have a look at the start of the stream later, there was snow on the ground when I began. There was snow falling at the end of the last episode, so it falls fine, and it does settle on the ground. So both things happen. I didn't drive around the map and notice whether when it had settled there's any odd effects, but the main reason I didn't go looking for anything is that it all, I mean, it happened the way I expected. The field that I was ploughing filled up with snow. Yeah, well, that feels like an anomaly, Mark. I don't know why Farmer Bob didn't fix that. It's not like that's a difficult thing to sort out. When those of you that watch the Silver Run Forest Farm will see that we had snow there. And interestingly for me, I've got snow inside all the buildings, so I thought that was the thing that Giants checked when they sorted mods out, so I was a little surprised that on their base map it would be a thing. So nonetheless, we had to spend part of the episode making space to put our leftover sugar beets on the floor, which again, you know, fitted into the story all right, so can't really complain. So if you're wondering why my soil testing's not showing up Farm Sim Brisco in the mini map, I think it's the mod I'm using. I'm not using the standard soil tester. And as a consequence, can we see on here, will it show me where I've... Okay, so I got pretty good coverage. That all worked. And there's no other fields that I want to do. Excellent, so I can send you off. I think it's a quirk of 4 times and this mod. It is. So anyway, we've tested the soil, so we've now got an idea of what land we have for the first time in all the generations they've been there. So that's a good start. Let's pop this over in the shed. I can fold you up. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, okay. Very good. Let's do that. Nope, there's a collision on the corner there. So, where are we up to? Let us turn you off. Let's put the trailer back. In the shed. That's probably a good point there, John. If I'd been looking at the safety tape on the edge of the thing, I mightn't have backed into it. Which... Right. Actually, the truck can stay there as well for the minute. It's in out of the way. We can duck over to our ploughing because that's our own field. This guy is just about done. We might take over because he's running a course rather than actually paying attention to where on the field's already been ploughed. Come and relieve one of the boys. John Paul George Ringo. I'm pretty sure Penny wasn't driving this one. Now where are we up to? The contract is complete. Well, we'll go to the end of the row. That's a good spot to be. We can actually go and check the contract board to see what contracts might be available when we come back next time. We've got to find a balance between sorting our fields out and getting some more cash in. Very funny, John. Feels like the tractor's working hard. Okay. So, contracts. We can complete that contract. There are fertilizing contracts which pay a lot of money, but we have to think carefully about doing those with our little fertilizer. Our little spreader, rather. We'll collect on that one. Yeah, I would have thought that was fair game to decorate your safety helmet. Stop it bumping into objects. That'd be the sort of thing that would fly well in most workshops. Am I on hard economy? I would expect so. And let's just check. No, I'm on normal economy. I can only imagine my logic was that it was already... I'd already set enough difficult constraints that there was no point in making the economy even harder. We can make that an audience thing. I mean, I did think the contracts were pretty generous. If people think that we should switch to hard economy, I can do that. I don't have a problem with it. It just slows the development pace. Whoops. Of the farm down a bit. I would normally play on hard if I'm playing on my own, just because I like the challenge. No, the contracts probably won't change, but the spending power of the money that we can generate will a little bit. Farmer Ed, welcome back. We missed you. Ah, very good. Are you filming it on my stream? Let's joke it. I'll have you know we have 24,000 almost in the bank. Farm Sim Brisco. We're rolling in cap. Gee, it comes around that corner fast. What have I got that? Settings set for there. Corner speed 50. That's interesting. Obviously didn't see that as a corner. Right. Get the fuel out of the way. Well, I reckon we're probably where we're going to stop. I don't think we're going to take any of those. What are those field sizes? 18 hectares, 26 hectares, 18 hectares, field 28. So what's field 28 reckon? It's gonna, oops. Field 28 to fertilize would require not that much. Maybe we could do field 28. That's only a couple of fills because this is the only spreader we've got. We could think about doing that one. We might put that in the chute for next time. Where are we? We'll accept that because we do have some fertilizer there and that would provide some funds to pay for some more. And then really we've got to set our attention to what are we going to plant in these fields. We won't get the cut off the grass in 68 until April, but we should be able to plant 61 and 62. So we need to decide on crop. I think we concluded, I'm just trying to remember last time. I might have to go back and look at the stream. There were some good suggestions as to what to plan. I think we decided a grain would be a good idea so that we got some straw, given that's kind of our business. Oops, that's what I want. So that probably means putting some more oats in, although, oh, actually no, because we've got a spring planting calendar. So if we're snappy, we could do any of the grains, and then maybe we'll do some soybean in the other one in the big field. The oats did work out to be profitable. But I'll take suggestions, I think, in the comments, and when we come back for the stream to open up next week, we will be doing some planting, and we'll probably find a way to do some mowing. We'll sell, with any luck, we'll get the funds up enough to buy the conveyor that we need to empty the silage, and life will start to get busy. But for now, thank you everybody for watching. Really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much, Farm Sim Brisco, for a terrific map and for dropping in to spend some time with us. It's very much appreciated. And thank you all. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye for now.